Have you ever sat alone with a cup of tea, listening to the quiet and thought, maybe I don't need all those friendships anymore? It's an odd thought, isn't it? After all, we have been told all our lives that friends are everything. From childhood playmates to workplace buddies, we have always had people around. But something shifts after 60. Maybe you have noticed it too. People move away. Life takes its turns, and suddenly the social circle that once felt so big starts to shrink. But here's the thing, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe, just maybe, it's exactly what you need. Let's talk about it. Because if you have ever felt guilty about not keeping in touch, if you have ever wondered why friendships feel more like an obligation than a joy, or if you have simply found peace in your own company, you are not alone. And guess what? You don't need to feel guilty about it. In fact, embracing your independence at this stage of life might just be the best thing you have ever done for yourself. Think about how much energy friendships used to take when you were younger. The constant phone calls, the birthday parties, the meetups over coffee, where you sometimes had to listen to problems you weren't really invested in. It was fun, sure, but it was also exhausting. Now you have the chance to shift your focus. You don't have to be the one keeping up with everyone, making plans, or checking in. You get to prioritize yourself, and there is incredible freedom in that. Maybe you have already started to notice how much you enjoy your own space. Mornings are quieter, afternoons are yours to fill as you please, and you don't have to navigate the expectations of others. You wake up and decide what you want to do, whether what's reading a book, taking a walk, or simply sitting by the window, enjoying the world outside. And the best part, no one is waiting on you to be anywhere or do anything. It's not loneliness, it's liberation. Now, some people will tell you that maintaining friendships is necessary to stay happy. And sure, social connections have their place. But the truth is, after 60, friendships should be about quality, not quantity. You don't need a long list of people to call up. You need peace, contentment, and time to focus on the things that bring you joy. Think about how often we hold on to friendships out of habit rather than genuine connection. Have you ever had a friend who drains your energy? Someone who only calls when they need something? Or always seems to bring negativity in your life? At this stage, you don't need that anymore. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to say, this no longer serves me. And that's not selfish, it's self care. Besides, as we get older, we change. The things we once found exciting may not matter as much anymore. We grow into different versions of ourselves, and sometimes friendships don't grow with us, and that's okay. Instead of forcing connections that feel like work, imagine what life would be like if you spend that energy on yourself, your passions, your peace, your happiness. Maybe you have always wanted to pick up a hobby but never had the time. Or maybe you love sitting in silence with your thoughts, something that was impossible when life was always busy with other people's needs. This is your time now. You have spent decades giving to others, raising children, maintaining relationships, showing up for people when even you were tired. Now you get to give that time back to yourself. And if you do feel the need for companionship, it doesn't have to come in the traditional form of friendships. Sometimes it's the little interactions that bring the most joy. A kind word from a stranger at the store, a shared laugh with someone in passing, or even the quiet companionship of a pet. These moments are often more fulfilling than forced friendships because they happen naturally, without expectation. So, if you have been feeling that pull toward solitude, don't fight it. Don't let society tell you that you need to be surrounded by people to be happy. Happiness isn't about how many people are in your life, it's about how you feel in your own company. And if you feel at peace, if you wake up with a sense of calm rather than obligation, then you are doing just fine. Now, let's talk about what happens when you fully embrace this stage of life. When you stop worrying about friendships and start focusing on the kind of joy that comes from within. Because once you do that, everything changes. Have you ever noticed how much lighter life feels when you stop worrying about what others expect of you? It's like a weight lift off your shoulders. You no longer have to keep up with conversations that don't interest you or show up for gatherings that drain your energy. Instead, you get to decide fully, freely, and without guilt what makes you happy. And that's a kind of freedom many people never get to experience without they are too busy chasing social obligations. Now, some people might say, but isn't it lonely without friends? And that's an important question to address. The truth is, loneliness and solitude are two very different things. Loneliness is when you need company but don't have it. Solitude is when you choose your own company and feel at peace with it. If you can wake up in the morning, enjoy a quiet cup of tea, take a walk, or sit in stillness without feeling an aching need for company, then you are not lonely. You are content. And here's the real beauty of it. When you stop forcing relationships, the right connections happen naturally. You might find joy in casual conversations with neighbors, brief interactions at the grocery store, or even just smiling at a passerby during your morning walk. These little moments can be more meaningful than maintaining friendships that feel like a chore. Because let's be honest, how many times have we kept in touch with someone just because we felt we had to, not because we genuinely wanted to? As we age, our priorities shift. In our younger years, friendships often revolve around shared activities, raising kids together, working at the same job, or going out for social events. But once those external factors fade, what's left? If a friendship doesn't bring you peace, it's okay to let it go. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about making space for the things that truly matter. One of those things is learning to enjoy your own company. Have you ever spent an entire afternoon doing something just for yourself? Maybe you sat outside, feeling the sun on your skin. Maybe you read a book with no interruptions. Maybe you simply let yourself be without the need to fill the silence with conversation. When you stop looking outward for validation and start enjoying the quiet, you begin to understand something powerful. Happiness isn't found in others, it's found within. Think about the stress that sometimes comes with friendships, the unspoken expectations, the obligation to check in, the effort required to maintain connections that may not be as fulfilling as they once were. Now, imagine letting all of that go. Imagine spending your days exactly how you want, without worrying about whether you are being a good friend. Imagine waking up and knowing that the only person you need to please is yourself. That kind of peace is priceless. Of course, this doesn't mean you should isolate yourself. It simply means you no longer have to force relationships that no longer serve you. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. When you truly embrace your independence, you will start to see that life isn't about how many friends you have. It's about how fulfilled you feel on your own. And here's something else to consider. The older we get, the more we realize that true joy doesn't come from constant socializing. It comes from the simple things: sipping a cup of coffee in the morning, taking a slow walk in nature, watching the sun set with no distractions. It comes from having the time and space to appreciate life without always needing someone else to experience it with you. So, if you have been feeling guilty about drifting away from friendships, please don't. Instead, embrace this new phase of life as a gift that allows you to focus on yourself, to enjoy your own company, and to live on your own terms. Because the moment you stop worrying about friendships, you open yourself up to something even greater: true peace, real joy, and a life that feels completely, beautifully yours. And the best part, once you stop looking for happiness outside of yourself, you will find that it was within you all along. The beauty of this stage in life is that you finally get to live for yourself, not for your job, not for your kids, not for social expectations, just for yourself. And the moment you stop worrying about friendships, something amazing happens. You start to discover who you really are when no one else is shaping your days. Maybe you have spent decades being the reliable friend, the one who always called first, the one who kept in touch while others drifted. But let me ask you, how many of those friendships truly filled your soul? How many times did you put in effort out of habit rather than genuine desire? Now, you no longer have to play that role. You get to be free to spend your time exactly how you want, free to focus on things that bring you peace rather than maintaining connections out of obligation. That freedom is something many people fear. Society has conditioned us to believe that being surrounded by people means we are loved, valued, and important. But real importance, real value doesn't come from others, it comes from within. You don't need a circle of friends to prove that you have matter. You matter simply because you exist. And when you fully embrace this, you'll notice something incredible. Your days feel lighter. There's no pressure to check in with people you don't truly connect with anymore. No need to schedule coffee dates when you'd rather be at home, enjoying a quiet afternoon. No guilt for choosing peace over forced socializing. You finally get to breathe without the weight of expectations pressing down on you. This shift doesn't mean you'll never have meaningful interactions. Quite the opposite. When you stop chasing friendships for the sake of having them, the right people naturally enter your life. Maybe you find connection in a kind smile from a stranger, a warm conversation with someone you meet in passing, or even the companionship of a beloved pet. These moments, simple and effortless, often hold more meaning than years of friendships that no longer bring joy. And let's not forget, relationships aren't just about people. The relationship you have with yourself is the most important one you'll ever nurture. Have you ever truly taken the time to sit with your own thoughts without distraction and feel completely at peace? That is the kind of contentment that comes when you stop searching for fulfillment in others. Think of all the things you can do now that you might not have had time for before. Maybe you take up painting, not because anyone expects you to, but because it soothes your soul. Maybe you start writing down your thoughts, capturing memories and reflections that bring you joy. Maybe you simply let yourself be. No schedules, no obligations, no pressure. Just being in the moment and realizing that this right here is enough. And if there's ever a moment when you do crave connection, it will happen naturally. A friendly wave to a neighbor, a short chat with someone at the park, or even reconnecting with an old acquaintance on your own terms. The difference is it will no longer come from a place of need. It will come from choice. And that makes all the difference. So, if you ever find yourself wondering, do I need friends at this age? Remind yourself of this. You don't need anyone to complete you. You are whole, just as you are. You are enough, just as you are. Life isn't about how many people surround you. It's about how deeply you embrace the time you have, the peace you create, and the joy you find in simply living. Let this stage of life be your own. Live it fully, without guilt, without apology, and without the weight of unnecessary obligations. Because when you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for what truly does. And that is the greatest gift of all. See you in the next video.